Hello! Hey, you audacious faces! I'm Anne-Marie Alanis, and I'm an artist, performer, and storyteller. And I'll be sharing my art and a personal and cautionary tale about mistaken love, betrayal, and courage as a speaker at Audacity 2024. Audacity 2024!
Hey y'all, Heather Parody here, and I am so excited to be joining you this year at the Audacity Conference. Last year was so powerful, and this year's theme on dreaming bigger, setting audacious goals, and having the courage to take action on them, man, it gets me all kinds of fired up. So can't wait.
Tomorrow, I'm speaking at Audacity 2024 Virtual Women's Empowerment Conference. Join me in the virtual world to engage with my art, hear my story, and meet some amazing speakers. Join me tomorrow on Saturday for the Audacity Summit. Let's go!
what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays, they are. And women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye-bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.
Hey, my name is Bethany and I am a 13-year-old Australian artist. Art, for me, isn't only just about creating and better developing my own skills and creativity, but it's also about my own journey to healing as a teenager going through depression and the battles life offers. Art for me is an escape from my reality, allowing myself to put my feelings on paper, whilst providing people with an insight into my emotional and physical well-being. I feel personally, for myself, I've gone through a lot over the past few years, and it was just at one stage when I finally turned towards art. I struggle expressing my own emotions, and art just seemed to allow me to do that without the need for any words or explanations, as it was all there on the canvas. Art is an important part to me, and I don't know who I would be or where I could be without it. But if there is one thing I have learned so far whilst in the midst of my journey, is that it's okay to forget who you are, and it's okay to feel empty or lost, disconnected, happy or sad, and even uninspired. Because in the end, something will grow, and that something is you.
The prize is in the process. A quote that I often remind myself of. Sometimes on this journey, we forget all of the things that we're doing along the way, the things that we have accomplished, the things that we still have left to accomplish. We forget our why. So sometimes you need to just take a step back. You need to reset yourself. You need to remember who you are. You need to remember why you are on the path that you're on. And control the controllables. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your mindset. Push, dig deep, find the grit, and just keep going.
Hello, I'm Suze, and I am an art lover. I am an art educator, an art collector, and an art enthusiast. I am excited to be a part of Audacity's 2024 Women's Summit and sharing a little bit about my passion with you. I think that a lot of folks come into Web3 and NFTs with little or non-existing knowledge of art history, and that basically spurs me to create art history videos that show the relevance between what happened in the past and what is happening today with digital artists. I am also incredibly passionate about making sure that people from underrepresented communities get their share of the pie.
Hello, I'm Rose Jade, a California-based watercolor artist who embarked on my artistic journey in August of 2022. Though I had nurtured a lifelong passion for the arts, it was the world of Web3 and NFTs that finally inspired me to bring my creativity to the public. Self-taught, self-realized, and self-actualized, I believe art is a journey towards self-improvement. I am excited to take part in the Audacity Conference for the second year in a row to celebrate and connect with other women in Web3 who dare to create our own paths of success.
My name is Rika, also known as Nibianism on Twitter, and I am a hyperrealist artist from London. I specialize in creating custom portraits for people, and my artwork occasionally explores surrealism. I also come from another artistic background of prosthetic design and always find ways to use my artwork to inspire and make people feel good. I hope to continue using my craft to change the artistic world, and I often try to symbolize women, especially BIPOC women and men, in my artwork, as I do find that they tend to be underrepresented in the artistic world. My main medium is pencils, and I use it as a form of my own expression, as pencils have a special place in my heart and will always remain despite any artistic craft I may decide to explore in future.
Hi, I am Katie Johnson, and I am an artist in the digital and physical realm, and I am obsessed with geometric shapes. I love to create patterns that move across a page, that are also calming at the same time. That's fun to me. I think if I needed to give some advice to my younger self, I would say go read Rick Rubin's book on being creative. It is chock full of information, wisdom, motivation. It's something that I will refer to countless times. It's so great. The other thing I would say is get a community together of other artists. You need a hype crew. You need people to motivate you when you're not feeling motivated, when you're creatively blocked potentially. It happens to all of us. And have people that you can just bounce ideas off of that understand what you're going through. So those are the two bits of advice I would give to other artists, to myself as well, probably talking to me more than anyone. And create. Always be creating, constantly create. You do it for you. Release it into the world if you feel like it, and don't if you don't. But continue to create. We need art. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Leah and I'm thrilled and grateful to have been invited for this chance to share a message with women across the globe. I hope that my words will reach lots of diverse women across different backgrounds and perspectives. Today I am feeling incredibly blessed to be a part of the online art community. It has been a little over a year since I joined this space, and since then I have met so many incredible women here. In the digital art community, it has always felt like there's a place for everyone. If you want to make friends here, you can. It's a really wonderful opportunity to find acceptance and a place to belong for you and your art, no matter your background. Another wonderful thing about the AI art space is that there are a lot of women here. Perhaps still not as many women as men, but we're working on it. As female artists have powerful voices that support and uplift each other. I see it happening every time I log on, and it is so inspiring. I try to be one of those voices myself. I see so much breathtaking talent in our works. I hope to continue to see an increasing amount of women posting art and supporting each other in 2024. Let's grow our amazing online art community even more.
My name is Tariro Dorcas Matibiri, and I'm here today to share my story with you. On the 16th of January, my husband was involved in a tragic accident that left him fighting for his life. The doctors told me that he was going to be quadriplegic from the neck down for the rest of his life. In addition to that, he couldn't see, he couldn't talk, let alone tell us how he was feeling. Between the 16th of January and the 4th of September when he passed away, I went through so many things. I was in a foreign land, raising our 3-year-old son, earning less than $1,500 and just trying to figure out how I was going to make things work. I needed to move to a cheaper apartment so that I could manage my expenses. And I just didn't know where to start. Thankfully, in that season, God showed himself as Jehovah Jireh, a provider, and a community of divine appointments showed up. There were those who prayed with me and prayed for my husband. There were those who brought groceries so that I didn't have to worry about groceries. There were those who assisted with legal advice, pro bono. And then there were those who helped pay his medical bills in addition to covering repatriation costs from Qatar to Zimbabwe. Now, I don't know what challenges you are facing in your storm, and whether you're married or single or just trying to figure things out. But what I will tell you is this: whatever slippery slope you are facing, hold on and move forward. God is still writing your story. You are not alone.
Hi, I am Shalina Kimji, an artist and a chartered accountant, born and bred in Tanzania. Looking back, art fascinated me since my childhood, as I was always glued to the easel. At least that's what my teachers remarked. However, as I grew up, we did not have art classes in school, and therefore I used to enjoy drawing in various classes. I remember getting remarks saying I could go for architecture because I was very good at numbers, physics, and drawing. I did consider going for it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it because I did not have an art portfolio. I then pursued accountancy, and I used to paint in my free time. I used to paint on clay, ceramics, and fabrics. However, at some point when my course got too intense, I had to move to UK to complete it and I forgot all about art. I rapidly climbed my career ladder and became an audit manager, but I realized that there was something missing and I was trying to pinpoint what it was and I realized rose colors. So one day, on the spot in 2009, I just went and purchased some colors and canvases. For a few years, I juggled my full-time career with art as I started participating in international and local exhibitions such as the East African Art Biennale, the Sketchbook Project, the Coffee Art Project, to mention a few. In 2018, I visited the World Art Dubai and I witnessed creativity buzzing all around me. I was like a kid in a candy store. It then pushed me to take a short career break and start painting full-time, which is why then I decided to freelance. So in 2020, I registered for a solo booth at the World Art Dubai. I packed and carried my paintings and traveled to Dubai a few months earlier as the event was scheduled for April 2020. Guess what? I got locked down in Dubai and World Art got postponed to October 2020. I was disappointed, but it was at that time that I came across this project by Art Painting Lab on lockdown art, which they were intending to convert as murals and display all over UAE. We could do as many pieces as we wanted with the hashtag United Art Emirates. The project went viral and all local newspapers began featuring it. One day I saw an update saying CNN would feature some of the artworks, but the deadline was in a few hours. I got to work and managed to submit my art piece. Guess what? A month later, I was featured by CNN, and that was my massive breakthrough. In October 2020, I proceeded with World Art Dubai. However, I felt like I had bitten off more than I could chew because I had the responsibility to pack and carry my paintings, to travel all the way to Dubai, to price them, label them, install them, fill out a zillion forms, etc., etc. However, the best part was I realized my dream and I also got featured by a magazine called Art and Luso and the National UAE. Thereafter, I got featured in many other publications such as Citizen Tanzania, and later I was invited by a UK-based TV channel for a live talk show. This year, I got to paint my very first mural. It was for a playroom in the Children's Cancer Ward at the Muhimbili National Hospital here in Dar es Salaam. An art exhibition that I would reminisce very fondly was the one that I participated in by the Arts Gallery on Art Connects Women on the theme Rise to Rejoice. I was the only Tanzanian artist representing Tanzania among 115 women from different parts of the world. I felt like an art queen, wearing my sash and displaying my painting. And guess what? I also made many friends and I also got to sell my art piece. At the moment, I am now part of Go as one of the very first female pioneers for being a coffee art, creating and minting them as NFTs. One of my artworks titled Coffee Bloom was minted as an NFT, and it was also exhibited at the DIFC Art Nights in a very fascinating concept called Gallery in a Box.
Michiko, a 13-year-old artist, has been crafting her creation, the imaginary bird Marodori, since the tender age of 10. With inspiration drawn from birds, Marodori represents her journey, seamlessly blending tradition and modern expression. Being Michiko's mom and Marodori's project manager, I find great excitement in presenting her art to the world. My focus extends to managing metaverse projects and business initiatives, ensuring Marodori transcends boundaries, delivering a distinctive artistic experience globally. In ancient Japan, amidst the prosperity of the Heian era, as the imperial court in Kyoto, aristocrats painted eyebrows to symbolize and express their nobility. Marodori incorporates this historical practice into its unique design. Marodori Stories NFTs bridge the gap between the traditional and the digital, creating a new dimension of art ownership.
Hello, my name's Carolyn Hammond and I'm an artist, creative, stroke business mentor and spaces host in the Web3 arena. I just wanted to share something with you that has helped me in my life in terms of being open to change, to staying open-minded. And what I mean by that is being open-minded is not just about adapting to change. It's about actively seeking new possibilities. The doors we push against represent the boundaries of our comfort zones. So by daring to explore beyond what is familiar to us, we unlock the potential for personal and professional growth. Consider this for a minute. Life is full of opportunities. In fact, they are in abundance. However, these opportunities that circle us only become tangible when we position ourselves in spaces where they are accessible. It's not a stroke of luck that opens doors. It's the intentional act of pushing against them with unwavering determination. So, as you begin each day, try and open your mind and embrace the twists and turns of life, for they may lead to unexplored possibilities. Thank you for listening.
My name is DC, noordinarygirl.eth on X. I am from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to share how loving myself unconditionally has given me courage I never knew I had. Last year, I was diagnosed with vitiligo. That's an autoimmune disease that affects your melanin in your skin. At first, I struggled to accept the patches of lighter skin now dotting my brown complexion. But in the months since, I've undergone a journey of self-discovery. Though it shook my self-image, my vitiligo diagnosis gave me the courage to see that true beauty comes from within. My skin does not define who I am or what I'm capable of. Through practicing self-love, I've become braver in all aspects of my life. I pursue opportunities that once intimidated me. I initiate conversations with new people without hesitation. And most importantly, I make the choice each day to love myself wholly and unconditionally. I share a glimpse of my story to remind you that you are enough just as you are. Do not let challenges or judgments prevent you from boldly loving yourself. You have a powerful inner light. Let it shine.
Hi, this is Edge Stretching. My contribution for the Audacity Women's Summit is a reflection on fear. I hope you like it. Here it goes. Fear waits for the passage, the weakness, and from there it enters, even when there is no real danger, without being noticed. It gives you an undefined sense of malaise, inexplicable and often changeable. You barely see it. It crawls slowly inside you, looking for open wounds, feeding on older fears. To get to the brain, cloud it, pervade it, immobilize it. Fear always gets what it wants. The fear of losing makes you lose. The fear of moving makes you immobile. The fear of loneliness makes you alone. The fear of others makes them aggressive. The fear of letting go turns you into stone. Fear does not exist like sadness exists, like anger exists, like melancholy exists. Fear does not exist. It's no use. It does not make you grow. It doesn't make you stronger, but only helpless before it. Fear doesn't exist. It is insubstantial. If you look at it, it gets scared, retreats. It is annihilated. Let's get to know it, recognize it, and destroy it.
Hi, all you audacious women out there. The challenge I chose to accept today was to come up with something inspiring to share, maybe a story or something personal. If you were to ask me to relate something inspiring a few years ago, it would have been a video of me in Split or Sarajevo or Belgrade. Something inspiring and sexy. Well, my life isn't exactly sexy right now. Not bad, but definitely not sexy. If you asked me this question a few months ago, I suppose I could have shared some stories about some intense challenges that I've had to overcome. Because overcoming challenges also makes for a good story. Like Luke getting his hand cut off or almost freezing to death but ending up becoming a very powerful Jedi. Or Frodo going on a suicidal quest through the heart of Mordor but succeeding in destroying the ring. Or Harry who loses a lot and gets his ass kicked before he finally destroys all the Horcruxes. Or maybe that influencer who loves to show images and videos of them working from an island in Greece after telling a story about how they were broke and homeless a year ago. Not only do I not have a traditionally inspiring tale to tell, I don't feel like talking about my specific challenges because, at least for right now, these things feel private to me. Honestly, on a hero's journey, I'm somewhere in the middle of the story that gets edited out. The story of what I'm going through right now is of little use for exposition or plot advancement or demonstrating a character arc. There's no good action or fight scenes or stunts or special effects. I'm in one of those periods in life that are pretty mundane, but the kind where you also get a lot of shit done. Today is a really good example. I waited for the plumber to arrive so they could fix the drain hose on my washing machine, and I built an email automation. Yeah, I know that's pretty exciting stuff there. The thing is, I'm still here, and that's good. I'm persevering. I'm consistent. Most of my accomplishments to date are simply because of simple consistency. I'm no hero, though, because I really don't have any other choices. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta make shit work with what you have. But while you're doing all of this, while you're going through all of it, you're probably wondering why. I know I do. Because a lot of times it just doesn't feel like any of this has any purpose or meaning. What I'd like to do right now is take a moment not to focus on me or anything visually distracting. And this is why I'm using the audio-only medium right now. Not just because I don't feel like being on video. I'm going to invite you to focus on the surroundings you are in right now. What do you see? What's in the room with you? What are you doing? Are you multitasking? Or what did you do an hour ago? What are you going to do an hour from now? What are you working on this week? What are you grateful for right now? Maybe it's a hot cup of coffee, or your dog lying next to you, or a meeting that went well. What is something you did this week that you know will pay off? What got accomplished on a cumulative level because of the work you did this week? What is something you've done consistently this year that is now paying off? Take time to write that shit down. And as a bonus, for extra credit, review this list every 6 months to a year. Believe me, it is really powerful. After you do that, throw a party for yourself. I guess I'm proof that everything doesn't have to be exciting or dramatic to be worthwhile. So in praise of the mundane and boring, just keep going. Consistency isn't sexy, but like going to the gym, it can be in the long run. Of course, joy, fun, and pleasure are also meaningful, but these things deserve their own time in the spotlight. Hope this inspired you in some way, and keep going.
My biggest fear is being left behind, not being connected to my family, not understanding what's going on in the world today. I created Onboard 60. Over the last 2 years, I've been learning everything I can about these new technologies. Onboard 60 is my project to reach out to other senior citizens so they can stay connected also. My virtual business card is on Cyber, /Onboard 60.
Welcome everyone to our How to Get Media Attention for Your Brand workshop. During this workshop, we're going to be dialing in on how you can get media exposure for what it is you're currently building. This is an incredible opportunity for you to see and explore ways in which you can get visibility for free. All of what you're doing is media. Many of us don't believe that what we're building is actually like media worthy. We might not feel that we have something to blast that people need to know of all around the world, but it's true. If you don't share what you're doing, how will anyone know? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to get started with this presentation. This is a type of attitude I want us to all have as we're working on getting visibility for what it is we're building. No one else can do exactly what we can do in the same way that we're doing it. That's one of the biggest reasons why we need to dial in ways in which we can get seen. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to deliver this particular workshop today. My name is Dr. Peace Uchet, also known as Doc Peace. I'm a doctor by trade and a spoken word poet. I'm also a brand awareness strategist and creative strategy consultant. My goal is to help you increase brand authority and visibility on what it is that you're building as you're building it. There's no need to wait till the house is already built and ready to go. You can actually start getting visibility as you're building. And that's something I really want to hone in on for everyone here today. Before I was Doc Peace, I was Dr. Peace Ucha, working as a pharmacist full-time. If you were to Google my name, all you would find was LinkedIn, my LinkedIn pharmacist profile. I had absolutely no presence as a spoken word poet, as a brand strategist. I had absolutely no presence because I had not taken the time to get media attention. I was shifting careers. I have now been featured in Forbes, Yahoo Finance, ArtNet News, CoinDesk twice. To say the least, this would not have happened if I didn't take the steps that I'm going to share with you today to get featured on those platforms. Today's agenda is to first dial in why media attention matters. Secondly, we're going to show how to get media attention. And then I'm also going to show you some media alternatives as well. Why is it so important to get media attention for your brand? I'm going to take you back to when I was at one of the big major conferences, and I was speaking on this stage. And I remember someone close to me asking, how did you get on this stage? How did you get an opportunity to speak on this platform? I've been trying to get on this platform. I've been auditioning. I've been pitching. I've been doing all the things to get on this platform, and I haven't been able to do so yet. How did you do it? The biggest thing that I was able to share with this person is that there's two ways to get on these big platforms, the NFT NYC, the NFTLA, and other big platforms. I'm talking a lot about the NFT space because that's a space I've been in for the last year, and I know many of us have been as well. But there's so many other larger platforms outside the Web3 space. How do you get on those platforms? How do you build up to this point where now you get seen by hundreds of people, and you get heard, and you get these opportunities to connect? The biggest way in which you can do so, there's actually two. The first is to pay for those time slots, is to pay for that visibility. I know there's a lot of conferences in which people pay thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be seen on these platforms. And I know this for a fact because there was a particular stage in which I spoke at, and the way I was able to do so was because someone got sick. Someone got sick and I filled in that gap. But the person who got sick and paid for that time slot, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for that particular position. And so unless you're sponsored or unless your brand is rolling in the money, it might be difficult for you to get to that position where you can pay for those time slots. The second way in which you can get visibility, and in fact, you can get on these stages and gain massive visibility, is to get media attention for your brand. It's to have a media presence. It's to have a presence online so that when your name or when your brand is Googled, things will show up. Because believe it or not, when those stakeholders are searching for people to have on their stages, they're definitely doing a Google search. They're looking to see what this particular person has to offer. What kind of community have they built out? Are people already like Googling them? Are people already connected? Do people even know who this person is? And if the answer is no, then they might not want to have you on their massive stage. And so this is why it's so important to, from the very beginning, dial in your media presence so that you show up when someone Googles your name. And even if you're not looking to speak on stages, there could be opportunities in terms of working with clients, big clients, or collaboration opportunities in which someone might Google your name and want to know more about you outside of your website, outside of your social media. And if there's no media presence, if no one's talking about you in the third sense, like if it's not just you talking about yourself, then there's no credibility. There's a lack of credibility. So this is just a couple reasons why media attention matters. More eyes equal more eyes. The more eyes you get, the more eyes you get. The more visibility you get, the more it's a ripple effect. So the more people see you, the more and more people see you, and it just becomes this exponential growth for you and your brand. And it all starts with getting that first article and the next article, and getting that, building that media exposure makes more people actually want to cover you. Go figure. So the first way to get media attention is to make a golden media blast. Many people might know this as a press release. I call it a golden media blast. And the way in which you're going to do so is to understand that everything that you do in your business can be newsworthy if you say it in the right way. Something that people will actually not only want to read, but will actually get approved on various press release platforms. I have a whole template that I've created for you all today on how to craft a press release that will get approved and will go out on press release platforms. Press releases allow you to officially showcase what you've got going on. As soon as you put out a press release, it becomes official. It's more than just an advertisement on your social media page. It's an official document that showcases what you're going on, what you have going on. And secondly, press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. Did you know that? Did you know that press releases can get picked up by larger platforms? You can put out your own press release and other larger platforms can see that press release and then push it out on their own platform. This is something that can't be done on social media. Yes, you can share what you have going on and others can share it on their platforms, but this takes it to a whole nother level. It becomes a global way for you to share an official document of what you have going on. And what's so important here is that you're actually writing it. You don't have to wait for some other media journalist to come around and say, hey, can I showcase what you have going on? No, you are actually showcasing what you have going on your own. So not only is it an official showcase, other larger platforms can feature you, but it also sets you up to create a Wikipedia. So I know this might not be something that you thought of in the past, but I want you all to think about this for the future. If you're growing your brand to the point people actually know who you are, then having a Wikipedia should be something that's on your brain. When you're creating your Wikipedia, it has to be an official document. And it can't be a press release that you put out yourself. It has to be a press release that's been put out or pushed out by a larger platform. So this is why it's important to that second point that I shared. Press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. So you can showcase what you have going on, and it could be an official document. And it can't be a press release that you put out yourself. It has to be a press release that's been put out or pushed out by a larger platform. So this is why it's important to that second point that I shared. Press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. So you can showcase what you have going on. And it could be anything from as small as, oh, I'm hosting a workshop. I'm hosting a workshop on this particular day. And you say all the details of what that workshop entails. Again, it needs to be newsworthy information. You holding a workshop is newsworthy information if you word it in the right way. So now you have all of this documentation of what you've done. You have that you've hosted this workshop, that you spoke on this platform, that you built this particular tool, that you've launched this particular product, that you've created this particular animation piece, and it's all officially documented in a press release. And then that press release has been picked up by bigger news media platforms, so it's even more official. And then you can create a wiki that goes through the timestamp of the growth of your brand. So this is something to get really excited about, because press releases, you make them yourself, and then it has the potential to get picked up by bigger brands. So this can give you massive media exposure, especially if you're doing this on a continuous basis. And the kicker here is that it's free. It's free to push out your own press release. Yes, there's certain things that you can pay for to expand that exposure, but initially you can just start pushing out press releases for free. And the template that I have to share with you will guide you through on how to create an effective press release. And it'll also include an example of a press release that I've crafted in the past. It got picked up by a bigger outlet. So this actually works, and I'm really excited for you to try it for your brand as well. So just a couple points on how to create this press release before we go on to the second way in which you can get media attention for your brand. It needs to be newsworthy information. It cannot be pitchy. It has to be uniquely worded, meaning that no other piece of information or content out there is worded in the same way. It can't be a copy and paste type of thing. It can't have all caps, which is also called hype text. We see that a lot on social media. Can't have exclamation marks, and it needs to be written in a journalistic style. So it needs to be very matter of fact in the third person. So this is happening on this date. This is what's happening. This is the information that will be shared on this particular date, and this is how you can join. And again, the template that I have to share with you will give you a step-by-step way on how to craft your press release, where to go submit that press release, and an example of a past press release that I've not only submitted, got approved, but also got picked up by a larger media outlet. The next way in which you can get media attention for your brand, number 2, is to pitch directly to media. Now we're going to go over how you can actually pitch directly to journalists. This is a platform called Help a Reporter Out, or HARO. HARO connects journalists who are seeking expertise from experts like you and me to create their content. They're looking for sources. You go to this platform, create a login, select I'm a source, you create your profile, and then you would immediately get pushed out emails, 3 emails a day that you get Monday through Friday, with opportunities to get featured like in these massive articles. For example, Fox was in one on Friday. Fox News was looking one on Friday. Fox News was looking for information on a particular piece of content, and they're looking for sources that had that information. You'll be taken to a screen like this. This is the most important part, the HARO preferences. This is essentially where you tell HARO what you're specialized in. This master HARO signs you up for all of them. So if you click Master HARO, you'll start getting emails from journalists asking for sources. They're asking for your expertise so that they can use you as a source. This is an incredible way to get featured in media for your particular expertise. Okay. I want to share with you an example of an email from HARO. It's Monday afternoon edition, because again, they have multiple editions that go out throughout the day. They break it down into the different topics. I'm going to scroll through. And then in the parentheses, you can also see the platform that is actually looking for that source. You can scroll down and again and see these major platforms. There's so many different topics and a lot of big platforms that are looking for experts. Let's look at Squarespace website owner to share opinion on the website builder, right? Many of us have probably used Squarespace. So they're looking for someone like you or me who's used this platform to share their opinion on Squarespace. And you can see that the particular journalist who's asking for this, her name's Emma. You can see her email. Now you can email out a pitch sharing your expertise. And you can also see what it is that she's asking for. So you would respond to this pitch answering all these questions. Once she reviews what you've pitched, and if it's in alignment with what it is that she's looking for, then she would feature you in Website Builder Expert is that media outlet specifically. So you'd get an immediate feature in this Website Builder Expert platform. How easy is that? And so if you were to receive these emails, a couple of them a day, and you were to pitch at least one of these journalists a day, imagine how much massive exposure you would get for your brand. And again, this is a free platform. So those are two massive free ways in which you can get media attention for your brand: creating your own press releases and then pitching journalists who are looking for experts like you to be featured on their platform. Once they email you back saying, yes, I would love to feature you, you can make that direct connection with that source. There's been so many times where I've pitched out a pitch to a particular journalist, and then they've come back to me directly asking me specifically for my expertise. So they didn't want to go through Haro anymore. They don't need to go through Haro. They know that they already found the experts, so they just reach out directly to you. So you can make that connection with a specific journalist so you can get featured regularly, on their media platforms. I want to take the time to go over some media alternatives. There are three main media alternatives. Many of us are familiar with stages, like virtual and in-person stages. And if stages have a marketing budget, they're marketing for you. So this is an important question to ask when you say yes to speak on a stage. If it's a small stage, as long as there's a marketing budget, not only do you get that practice and opportunity to speak to a new audience, but you also get free publicity. So that's something to keep in mind. When it comes to podcasts are evergreen content. So they will forever exist. Even after the podcast stops taping, your podcast episode will forever exist on Spotify or YouTube or whatever platform that podcast went on. So that's something to keep in mind. That's massive exposure because you're on somebody else's platform. If someone Googles you, you will show up because you've been featured on that podcast. Twitter Spaces could be evergreen as well if the space is recorded. When I led a space with Lauren Turton, we would record those spaces and push them out as podcasts as well. So there's a lot of potential there with podcasts, Twitter Spaces, and in-person virtual stages as well. One thing that I really enjoy, though, is blogs. Blogs don't require you to show up in real time, and they feature your expertise. They may be more personable than larger media outlets, depending on your relationship with the host. Start looking into being featured on blogs because of that personability of the blogs and the ability for you to show up in your own time. Let's Flow Gold Inner Circle is a platform that I built out to house your profile on our platform, letsflowgold.io. We have 100 plus monthly visitors, so you're getting immediate eyes on what it is you're building. You get featured in our blogs. One mistake I made when I was first starting out was that I wasted time building my website. No visitors came because I had no established media presence and no leads. So this solves the problem of obscurity from the very beginning. You get immediate eyes, continuous exposure, workshop style meetings to help develop these media pitches, your outreach strategy, and all of the components of building a media presence. That leads us to our last slide here. We've gone over a lot today, but I want to make sure that you get the opportunity to get the Golden Blast template to create your press releases and start getting featured on other people's platforms. So all you have to do is go to bit.ly/media blast, or if you have your phone handy, you can take a picture of that QR code. But again, it's bit.ly/media blast. So you can get that template and start building that press release to get media exposure.
What's going on, y'all? Happy Saturday. Good morning. Well, good morning for the East Coast folks. I know we have like a worldwide audience, which is really cool. I was just looking at the Citizen map a minute ago, and holy crappies, man, this is huge. So big congratulations to Natanya and Stephanie for putting together another badass event. It is a labor of love, I know. It's an honor to be here with you guys. I'm Heather Parody. I have 19 minutes now, 19 minutes to share with you a huge topic that I'm very, very passionate about, which is showing up in a digital landscape, more human, more lit up, more alive, especially those of you who have a message on your heart that was placed there. I believe by God, whatever you want to call it, there's some kind of calling on your life, and it stirs you and it moves you for a reason. It's not there to torture you. Believe it or not, sometimes it feels like a little bit because you have this thing that you're very, very passionate about, whether it's your art or your business or the nonprofit that you want to start. And man, those suckers, it won't leave you alone, will it? Sometimes it keeps you up at night. And there's so many different avenues and different things that you can do. And a lot of times people get stuck in the dreaming phase and the what if phase and the wishing phase because of overwhelm and honestly, fear, a lot of fear. Who am I to use my voice? Who am I to start a conference? Who am I to have the audacity to believe that I, little old me, I'm country, y'all, you don't even know, little old me can make any kind of impact in this world? Is there space for me? Is there room for me? There's so many other people who are doing what I want to do, so many other artists, so many other storytellers, so many other conference leaders. Is there a need for me? Now, I know there's a ton of folks coming in who are going to share some really powerful stories. I'll give you a lot of motivation, a lot of empowerment. What I wanted to do in now our 17 minutes together, I'm keeping an eye on it, leaders, y'all, I'm watching, is I wanted to give you some very tactical things that you can do today that will move you forward in your digital presence, in your digital identity, and the thing that you're wanting to start. And I can speak with conviction and confidence about this topic, not only because have I done it myself, and I'm currently wading through the water myself. I am a practitioner, but also in my business, this is what I do is I work with folks, not just women, I work with men and women to bring digital products online. And there are 4 things that have come up time and time again working with women specifically. And they're going to make you uncomfortable. And it's going to get your feathers all ruffled. And I don't know, you might need to go get some coffee and get a Snuggie blanket because what I'm about to tell you, it ain't easy to hear. All right. Number 1, this comes up over and over and over and over and over again. This is specifically with women. I work with men and women. Women, this comes up. We're very passionate. We have a lot that we're here to give this world. And so our tendency is to want to throw up everything, right? And give it all and feel this pressure to express all of our passion in one go. Well, I this and this and this and this and this. I wrote here, go narrow so that you can go wide. Go narrow so that you can go wide. And friend, it hurts my heart just saying it because I have so many dreams, so many things that I want to do. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. If you read my journal, you'd be like, who the F do you think you are, girlfriend? I have so much that I want to do. But I have seen through some successes online and through some failures online, a lot more failures, a lot, that the times that I have chose to go narrow over going wide, I've been able to push the ball forward way faster. Now, tactically, what this looks like is it means narrowing in on one particular thing just for now, and going hard on it. What happens is when you can do that, you build traction to be able to launch other ideas out there. You don't have to do everything at once. You shouldn't do everything at once. You can't do everything at once. Pick the thing closest to you right now and understand and believe that all those other things, all those other ideas, all those other passions, you're not saying no to them. They're on the sideline and they will come in when it is their time. All right. I put here that it's an insecurity of ours to want to do everything all at once. I was just on a call with a brilliant woman yesterday. And she was sharing that she feels like she needs to give and add more to her service and her product and so forth, because she's afraid people aren't getting value from her or she's not giving enough. And I'm like, girlfriend, what's happening is you're acting from a place of fear and insecurity that what you're bringing to the table isn't enough. So you overwhelm people with so many things. So that we have to call it out for what it is. It's an insecurity that we have to do everything at once. There was a woman I interviewed named Nikki Saunders. Look her up, badass, just a complete badass. And she said on our interview that we don't need to think all about what we want to be known for. That's big. Think about what you can be trusted with right now. I want to be known for this and this and this and this. What can you be trusted with right now? All right. What is in your hand right now? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes because I can't remember what I was going to say. Lord Jesus, I got 13 minutes. I got to keep moving. Go narrow so that you can go wide. All right. So you got this audacious dream. What is the narrow part of that right now that you could focus on and execute on? Okay. I know that's not fun and it's not the sexy thing to do, but if you want traction, that is the answer. I'm sorry. All right. Number 2, women specifically. Again, I help folks bring their digital stuff or bring their work and make it digital. This comes up for women specifically over and over and over again. But I don't want people to think I'm calling myself an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just little old lowly me, I'm a servant. I'm a servant to everybody. Okay, cool. I'm sure you are. That's not serving anyone. All right. This fear of calling yourself an expert, we just had to go through, I'm just giving you some examples because it's true. You could tell me I'm passionate because I'm getting more Southern. Going through a woman's website the other day, she wanted us to remove everything that said expert on it or expertise. She wanted to remove those words. And I understand and I respect that you want to not present yourself at a level that you're not from a knowledge perspective or an ability perspective. But also, I'm so sick of working with women who are afraid to step into what they know. Okay. Men don't have a problem with that. They're like, when they need to sit down, you know what I mean? Like they probably need to be questioning their expertise, but they don't mind. They don't mind because they understand the position of power when you can speak and say, I am good at this. I know what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean you're perfect, right? So I'm not saying you need to call yourself an expert by any means, but understand this deep fear of not stepping into your expertise. And here's a very tactical way that you can do this. Okay, I'm not saying for you to go on your website and like, I'm an expert at watercolor and you just started yesterday. I'm not saying that. What you can do is speak your story and speak with conviction on it. That's all you have to do. I was working with a lady a couple of weeks ago. Gosh, I should have done that breathing thing again. I'm getting hyper. Get grounded, girl. Get grounded. All right. I was speaking with a woman the other day, and she worked in women's health, specifically fertility. And she was getting this imposter syndrome of like, I'm not an expert in this space. I don't have degrees and I don't have all this stuff. But she lived through it and she was able to see a lot of results from the thing that she was teaching. And I said, friend, no one is asking you to call yourself a doctor. No one is asking you to call yourself you to do that. What they're asking is for your story and for some conviction that what you're saying is true if it's true. How much money are you saving people by sharing your experience? How much time are you saving people? Right? How much heartache from them having to go research all this stuff because you've lived through it and you walked through it. And all you're doing is sharing what happened to you. And from that grounded, convicted place, people are drawn to that. And this is something as women, historically, generalized statement has been a little bit more of a difficult thing that I've seen in my experience for women to step into. A conviction that you know what you've walked through. And I can tell you about that, right? All right, so number 1, go narrow so you can go wide. All right, all these ideas you have are great. Pick one and go in deep. Go in deep. 2, you don't have to be, a doctor, but don't be afraid that you're an expert in your own story, your own conviction, and you can speak from a very grounded place and a strong place from that, okay? Number 3, y'all know I got to do this one. Anybody who rolls in my circle already knows what this one is. Launch messy. Stephanie and Natanya are in the back and they're probably like, praise of Jesus. Launch messy. Launch messy. There is no way that you're going to figure out what your art is, what your business is, what your platform is, without first, through trial and error, figuring out what it's not. And that only comes through putting it out there, playing with it, and letting it show you what it is. We get in our ego and we think, oh, I'm creating this. This is all me. No, that thing's a living entity and it's going to work with you, but it wants to be respected, right? And taken care of. I know this sounds weird and woo. I usually have the book with me right here. It's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Game changing, absolutely game changing. But the idea that our ideas are living entities, and if we don't do something with it, it'll move on to somebody else. I have a friend who's convinced he came up with the Uber idea. He's like, I came up with that idea. I'm like, no, you didn't. He's like, yes, I did. Well, you didn't do nothing with it, right? Launch messy. This is kind of a bold statement, but I'm willing to make it, and I'm willing to stand by it, is that this need to perfect is extremely selfish. Extremely. It is all about you. It is about your ego. It's about how people perceive you. And friend, that's not coming from a place of judgment. It's coming from a place of deep empathy because I've been there. I want to control what people think about me because I want you to like me. I want you to think that I know what I'm talking about. I want you to like my freaking reel. You know what I mean? I want to control your perception of me. So I'm going to hyper focus on stuff and nitpick it and put out less, right? That's what we do. This fixation on perfectionism is all about you. It's insanely selfish, right? People are not paying attention to you at all. Like, if y'all get into marketing, you'll know this is true. It's hard to get people's attention. You can wave your cute little flag 247 and people are like, what? Huh? What? Nobody's paying attention. They're so distracted that you can put out work, messy and imperfect, and nobody cares. And if they do care, they're bored AF, okay? They need to get a freaking life. Nobody is paying attention. You can launch messy, all right? I need to move on along because now I got 6 minutes. So what have we talked about so far? This is tactical things I've seen come up over and over and over again with women who have big hearts, big ideas, a big calling on their life. And these are the things, I swear to God, the conversations I have on a weekly basis over and over and over again with these women about the resistance that keeps them from putting their work out there. Go narrow. I'm going to say it again. Go narrow on your idea. I already forgot the second one. Lean into your story. Own what you know. Launch messy. Here's the last one. Are you ready? I'm circling it. Go more human and speak to core wounds. All right, I got 5 minutes, so this is going to be heavy AF, but I don't care. We have a gift, an intuitive healing gift. Now, I have what they call masculine energy. I'm very type A. I'm very driven. I'm very organized. And I get offended when people start telling me that I'm a feeler and I have this next. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean, Paul? Because I just had therapy yesterday. And my therapist said, when did you learn that feeling didn't mean that you were strong? And I've had this narrative in my head for years, and I'm 37 and I'm trying to break it, that my intuitive nature, that my DNA, that my stance, my presence in this world as a woman is not weakness, that it is a power that we have to start leaning into. Because when I think about being audacious and being equal to men and having the seat at the table and all this stuff, my tendency, and I'm telling on myself, friend, my tendency is to think I need to emulate, mimic the energy of men versus embrace and embody the energy of a woman. And part of that is the part of it, not all of it, part of it is the ability to speak to core wounds of people directly. We can get to the heart of a matter like no one else. We can see things, we can feel things, and we can speak things. So with your art, with your music, with your business, with your conference, with your book, with whatever you're doing, what is the underlying thing that no one is saying that you have been uniquely positioned in this world to say and to speak? We don't need to run from it, hide, be bashful. And friend, I love technology. I love these tools, but nothing is going to take the place of your physical voice, your physical, beautiful face, and your physical energy, right? I'm not sure in 10 years that any of us will ever meet, like physically. I'm sure at some point this will be the norm. That's cool, right? We will always need to see your eyeballs and hear your voice and feel that human. And women, a lot of times we want to hide from cameras. It's funny because when we do a lot of building out of things for folks. When I ask a man for his photo, I immediately get an email back. I'm still waiting. I've been waiting for weeks for some of my female clients to send me their photo to make a quick video. Now that sounds crazy to some of us in this room because we're creators and we're makers, right? That's a reality for a lot of women. We need to see your face, hear your voice. All right. So I know I'm out of time here. I just want to encourage you that there is a reason that something is poking at you, poking at your heart. It's a calling on your life. You have every right to pursue it with full abandonment. Please learn from my mistakes. Go narrow at the beginning. Step into your expertise. Launch messy and boldly speak to the underlying core human need in this world because you as a woman have been uniquely positioned to speak to that. Love you. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Natanya. Y'all are badasses. And I'm going to roll on out of here. I don't know how to get out of here, but I'm going to try. Maybe I just take my camera off and I leave. I hope this worked because if I was just talking to myself all day, I had a good time. That's it, y'all. Bye.
So my name is Wildy Martinez. Many know me as Wildflower or Wildflower Fields. I try to make that my artist name, but Wildy is my actual name. Some people pronounce it as Wildy, but I am Dominican American, and my name is pronounced in Spanish. So I was born and raised in New York City. I knew right away since I was 6 that I wanted to be a fashion designer. I was really blessed to know that that's what I wanted to do, because one day I saw shiny dresses twirling in a window display, and I told my mom that I wanted to make dresses. And really lucky that my parents saw that in me and really supported that decision by, encouraging me to draw and buying me supplies. And at the age of 12, I ended up applying to a specialized high school called Fashion Industries, and I got in. And for 4 years of high school, I was doing fashion already and doing shows in New York City. So that led me going into FIT. I still love fashion, so I kept going. And that really led up to almost 20 years working as a fashion designer in New York, in the fashion industry. And I'm sure as many of you, when 2020 came along, our worlds, turned upside down. Mine did, because I got laid off. Luckily, one of my freelance jobs that I did with a friend became my full-time job, and that one was a very purposeful job, because we supplied employment to women rescued from sex trafficking. So I always loved using like fashion and art to help women in crisis at that, and doing advocacy for anti-sex trafficking. So it was a very heart emotional work to do, because it was real women and real lives, and we would joke around like, one t-shirt can save a life, because it literally did provide for women in Nepal to have jobs with dignity. Anyway, so I was doing that. However, time was slower. I wasn't going into an office for 12 hours a day, and there was a lot of things happening, and I decided to go back into creating art for myself, for therapy, for healing. And I was doing a lot of art about colorism and expressing how that affected me growing up. And this is where my journey of self-embrace really started. Questioning things like why, about certain things in my culture that were I grew up listening to, that weren't right, and that led me to really like embracing my African heritage. And I was like, I want to be able to celebrate this part of my life too, that my culture necessarily doesn't really embrace. And I know Lemni is here, she's Dominican, and maybe a few of you have grown up with colorism and kind of the confusion, or just the internal war about who are we, and who we identify as, and the things that perhaps are not celebrated being kind of not played up. So I used to straighten my hair before, and to blend in, and it's like that internal war, especially as women, of fighting to be unique, but then that fear that comes with like, what if we stand out too much. Around that time in 2021, I joined Web3, and that's when this conflict and this insecurity of mine of being comfortable with my own skin, that's when I kind of brought it to the forefront. And that's when I created an art piece called Wildflower 38. I had turned 38 at that time. And it was a fashion illustration with vitiligo on it. And vitiligo is a skin condition that removes melanin. So it's autoimmune, and it removes the melanin from your skin. So I actually was brown, and I lost all my pigmentation. And I actually, that journey began when I was 25 years old. So I wasn't born with it. So that led to a lot of emotional distress. Whoever has any skin diversity or diagnosis, it's something that you can control, but you cannot. And because I worked in the industry, I felt that pressure of looking a certain way. So I actually was hiding that I had it for many years. I would put a lot of makeup on my hands. That's where my melanin left first. I would just dress. I would put scarves on. I hid for a good 10 years of my life. And that piece, Wildflower 38, was me telling the world, I'm done hiding. I don't want to hide anymore. And I'm putting it on an artwork, and I'm sharing my story of having vitiligo. And that's when everything changed for me, because I didn't realize how many people have it too. Obviously, it's definitely more normalized now than it was 10 years ago. I would have conversations on X, Twitter, with moms with kids that had it, and how to navigate through that. And also just women who had other like insecurities or things that brought them shame, come up to me and feel like they could related to my story, and they felt seen. And that catapulted I guess, my journey into celebrating diversity and shining the light on vitiligo. So I add vitiligo to a lot of my art pieces. I open up the dialogue around what it is to enter the journey of self embrace. I call it the art of self embrace, embracing those things as women that we maybe feel like are ugly or are like, not how the standard beauty is, or it doesn't fall in, it doesn't align with what the beauty standards are of today. And how can we disrupt that, especially as women in tech? How can we keep disrupting these norms that are not actually norm? And how can we tell the world that it's full of color, it's full of uniqueness, and it's full of we're just we have to keep fighting that narrative, especially as women. We're already such a small percentage here in the Web3 community, here in tech, even in the art industry, even in fashion, like especially in fashion. How can we change the narrative so that the young generation doesn't have that pressure that we've grown up with, especially if you are a millennial or older than that? Like, I grew up in the 90s, just all these standards that were unrealistic. And because I'm still working in fashion, when AI fashion came around, I was like, oh, I need to do this if this is the next thing in fashion. I found it such a serendipitous that a 360 moment happened where I went back into fashion using AI. And I joined, I'm one of the competitors for AI Fashion Week, ended up being one of the finalists. And one of my concerns was the lack of diversity within AI. So if you add, any type of profession, doctor, teacher, it would not be a person of color that would be popping up. So I was like, oh, what if I put prompt vitiligo model? I even would put Winnie Harlow, and it just did not know how to generate vitiligo. So I learned how to train my own AI models to have vitiligo, and I'm one of the first designers in AI Fashion Week and finalists to have vitiligo community represented. And this is being seen like in Vogue, and I know there's still a lot of growth to be done. But one of the things that I wanted to encourage everyone that is here and listening is that usually the things that you have that are so different from everyone else, or that you feel like you don't know why you have it, or why me, like why did I get vitiligo, and I wasn't born with this thing, and I'm changing every day, why me? And definitely has shifted quickly into what for, like what can I use this for? Is it for advocacy? Is it for just sharing my story? And I think it's pretty incredible that the thing that I felt so much shame over, the thing that I felt like was ugly or that I had to hide, is the thing that is being used today to help so many people that are like me. And that brings me so much joy. And it's also my why as to why I create art, why I create even fashion, though it may seem vain, like the fact that I'm the one creating it, and that through that maybe someone can discover my story and my why as to I create, that their lives can be impacted, especially little girls who maybe look like me, can know that they can also be bold and be out there and create as well and make legacy. And I always say, if it's not done yet, then we're the ones meant to do the change. So if there wasn't vitiligo prompting, then I could do that. Let me figure it out. And that goes to everyone here today. If you see something that needs change, that is not representing your community, representing your culture, then this is definitely the moment to do it, to embark in that journey. however it may look like. And it is really just taking it step by step. So I really thank the Web3 community for, I think, for allowing me to giving me the space, I think, to express myself. I think Web3 is the only community that you can have like 500 hats and put it in one hub. One of the other stories that I wanted to share to encourage anyone here is about the actual power behind storytelling. So not just creating the art, but also sharing the story and being bold. It is maybe scary to jump on here and do a live, or maybe go on Instagram and do a story, or record yourself. But I think it's so important to raise up our voices and actually speak, whether it's writing. And I understand it is a scary thing, especially if you don't like public speaking or you're taking baby steps. But for a little forward movement is better than no forward movement at all. So one little movement you do for that goal to share your story, it is worth it. And I went on a trip many years ago. I had vitiligo. I was trying so bad to cover it up, but it was in the Caribbean, in my country, Dominican Republic, and I was doing like charity work, helping out kids in the neighborhood and giving them gifts and like chatting with them. And it was like a 3-day event of charity work. And at the end of that event, each little kid would come up and say, thank you for this or thank you for that, just thanking the organization for being there. And I remember one little girl went up there and she had said, I want to thank, she said, I want to thank, but she said something I can't remember, it's a long time ago, but she said, I now know that I am beautiful. She had vitiligo. And she said, and I know that I am beautiful because Miss Wildy is beautiful. And she must have seen that I had vitiligo on my hands. And that moment I knew that how we carry ourselves in midst of sickness or curveballs, and how we carry ourselves do impact the next generation. So you never know who's looking. And I encourage you all to be yourself, embrace all the things that you have, that especially when you're growing up, you're like, why do I have this? Why do I have, it's a reason why. And I assure you, someone else has it or someone else can relate to you. And it is a beautiful thing to add to the art of representation, and to be kind of like a beacon of light for others to say, you know what, if she can do it or he can do it, I can do it too. And yeah, so I don't know if I should keep talking or anybody has anything to drop on the chat, let me know. Hi Lemni, hi Gabe, and hi everyone. I want to thank Natanya and Stephanie for doing this incredible event. What a beautiful venue. What an amazing concept. And I'm so proud to be part of being one of the artists of Audacity and being here in this amazing summit. Amazing. There's no questions coming in.
I'm just hopping in to say, since you have the On Cyber open, people can definitely just pop in with questions in the chat. So yeah, if there is any, I'm just saying they might. So since you are on Cyber as well, that's definitely an option. So if there is comments or questions that anybody wants to pose, use the chat box in the space on the left-hand corner. We'll just give that a few minutes. Yeah, so I'll step out just for that, but just for everybody to know.
Yeah, I'm here if you guys have any questions. Pretty cool. I do have, let me see, is anybody asking? Hi everyone. I'm on Cyber as well, and here on my on my computer. Um, oh, sure. So I went to Art Basel, and I was able to join Y3K Summit, and Cool Cats was there, and a few other amazing communities. And we actually went to in Miami and spoke to elementary students who are part of a program, and it was anti-suicide, anti-like bully um, discussion, and it was amazing. These kids, you know, we just never know, like the impact that we have over children, and just young, I would say ages 12, maybe 11, 12, 13, and they were able to open up about the things that they're going through, mental health, and it's incredible. And we basically there was a lot of artists there, and we spoke to them about using art as an outlet, right? When we are trying to let those emotions out, how we can use art and music. And it was a beautiful thing. I do want to say that we're going to do it again during NFT NYC in New York. It's actually going to be in Harlem Children's Museum, and we're going to be having some activation showing them about Web3 and blockchain. I'm going to do some AI workshops with the kids, so I'm super looking forward to doing that. And then here, how do you see AI and fashion shifting in the future? I mean, it's already happening, and it is pretty insane. I think what's pretty cool is that maybe because I feel like I'm in both industries at the moment, I can see fashion actually being one of the ways where Web3 and blockchain become mainstream, because it's already happening. For some reason, AI tech is just like a smoother window into Web3. Like it becomes a little bit more like understandable why we would use this type of system or ecosystem to record information, especially in fashion. So one of the main examples that I'm seeing right now is Norma Kamali. She's an amazing American fashion designer, and she has trained AI to be her assistant to record her fashion designs throughout her 50-year career as a designer. So it's all in a database, and instead of it being in a museum somewhere, it is in the blockchain and with AI, and it's pretty cool to see companies do that. I'm seeing a lot of editorial campaigns where it's all with AI. Digital Fashion Week now is becoming aligned with like New York Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week and Fashion Week in general, where there's an infusion of AR, VR, AI fashion. Steph Young, I don't want to mess up her name, but she's doing a crossover between physical and digital. Let's say the model is walking down, the runway, and you have your phone and you can see the actual digital wearable on the model through your phone, through your glasses. If you own the Ray-Bans, or I'm sure Provision too, you're going to be able to see the show, and there's not actual real clothes on the model yet. So there's definitely already a huge movement. And then I see, yes, Gabe. I had a collaboration with my son Luther and Tezos. So my son has a NFT. I think we sold out already. We did 4 pieces. Whoever's been here for like 2 years or a little bit longer know that last year we were living on Twitter. I mean, I still am living on Twitter, but it was just the spaces. Like we were in spaces 24/7. My son was home with me, so I didn't want it to be where mommy is starting a new job and you're not involved. So I allowed him to like listen into safe spaces with me. He knows what NFTs are. And I say, would you want to create a collection together? And all the money goes to his fund. And these are actually his pieces of work back here. If you guys can see it. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can. He's an amazing artist. So I'm like, we could collaborate together. And he lent me all his beautiful abstracts, and we added fashion gals to them, and it's really fun. I had to tell my husband to take him out because he would be here with me doing this live, as a little future artist that he is. Let me look over here. Do you have any idea on how to represent Dominicans? I think if you're a Dominican, you're the representation. Like it's showing up, talking about your culture, not being obviously no one being Dominican. Like we have so much pride over our culture. It's showing up and showing your unique story. Even I had a collaboration with Coffee Coin. If you guys have seen Coffee Coin, if you can apply, I encourage all artists to look into it. But we created a coffee bean together, and they put my art on the packaging, and then you buy the coffee, you get an NFT. And because coffee, if you're Dominican or Latino, is so important to us. Like I need coffee. I injected my story with my grandmother, my Dominican grandmother, and how one of my core memories with her is drinking coffee with her in Dominican Republic, and then drinking coffee with her here. And how I started drinking coffee when I was 7, because that's how Dominicans are. And I know my friends here can not leave me hanging. We're not lying. We drink coffee since, it's like a little bit of coffee and a lot of milk when you're young. But yeah, injecting these stories that are like, part of our upbringing, and adding them to, it doesn't need to be like a bold Dominican flag, but in your storytelling, there's going to be things that because of your upbringing is just going to seep through. So finding out ways to, I just found that coffee project was such a beautiful way for me to talk about my grandmother and celebrate that legacy and what she passed down to me. And then my other grandmother was a fashion designer, so I'm always bringing her up. That my mom always says that it skipped the gene, because my mom is not like creative, but that that I got the gene of I don't know, gene of fashion or like creativity. So always honoring them in interviews, or if you want to actually create a series. That's how I started. I created a series with Afro Dominican women, and talking about colorism and the history of colorism in DR, and it just kind of kept going and shifting. How do I envision AI fashion in relation to fast fashion and climate issue? That's a great idea. So because I have a background professional in fashion, and I work for so many different, I work for fast fashion, mass fashion, high end. Something that happens a lot is wastage, fabric wastage. It is horrible. And one of the ways that I see AI fashion and 3D fashion changing that is by shortening the sample supply lifespan. So basically, when you design something, you need a sample, and the sample is in the fabric. And then you put that sample on the model. Oh, I need to make changes to it. So you request another sample. And then that sample is fit 1. And then you fit that. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, we're going to need another fit. And it's just like because I work from home, I have bins of fit samples that I don't know what to do with them. And it's so much waste because they're not perfect. And they're just adding to the landfill. And one of the ways I see AI fashion helping, I already see it. I mean, even with clients, is that AI fashion is so accurate to how it would look like without you having to make a sample, that the buyers can actually buy straight from that AI fashion, sketch. Also, because of 3D, you can fit your using AI, you can actually put the measurements of the fit model on the computer, so that when you create a fit sample, it probably is perfect and you don't have to keep refitting. So I think from a landfill part of it, I see that being a solution where there's less fabric wastage. Because I've traveled, and unfortunately, there's just so much warehouses overseas that are just unfortunately full of fabric that are too old to sell, too old to use up. Yeah. So I think I skipped a few questions. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do both over here. So for my fashion, oh my gosh, there's so many questions. Sorry, guys. I use Midjourney and Runway. There's actually a few new apps that are coming out, like Refabric is a AI fashion tool that's solely for fashion, where Midjourney, you can use it for like so many crazy things that you create anything. So I've been reached out by a few newer that are really focusing on fashion design. So where the fabrications, you can be more specific with them. But so far it's Runway for my videos and my model training, Midjourney, and also I just started Comfy UI and Stable Diffusion. I also love illustrating by hand using Procreate, and then I actually feed that into I style reference that into Midjourney. So it's pretty cool that I can still sketch, I love sketching by hand, so it's pretty cool that I get to do that too. So yeah, so I wanted to say a few things that I get like frequently asked questions, is how to get started, or how to get your art featured or get collaborations. And I'm going to share from my personal experience, and it's going to probably sound so like, oh duh, but it's true. Like, I think sometimes as artists, we get too shy or too nervous to share our work, or to share our work in progress, or to share our concepts that we have, either because we think, oh, it's not ready yet, it's not perfect, so I'm not going to share that right now until it's perfect. I say share your process, share excuse me, where you are as an artist. Oh, I'm choking, I need water. I'm okay. Like, share everything. Don't wait for that perfect thing to share, because people enjoy seeing your process. And a lot of my partnerships, or when I apply to like open calls, especially through Hugs, which I think everybody knows now is killing it with crazy open calls, I've gotten so many opportunities because of that. Okay, excuse me, I'm gonna go get water. Stay right there. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. Cut and action. So share your imperfections, share your whips, share like, hey, this is what I'm working on. Don't be afraid. Like, no one's gonna take your idea. Hopefully that. Share like how you're doing it. I believe that the more we share like our resources, I believe in energy, so I believe that comes back to us. And having like an abundant mindset and not scarcity. Like, if I share this, then it won't be enough for me. No, there's so many things, and no one can do it like how you can do it. No one can replicate your voice your DNA, your your uniqueness. And that's the whole point of like the art of self-embrace. And I would say share. I do share like on Instagram. I don't stay stuck on just sharing on X. I tweak my work so that it applies to Instagram. I even do TikTok. I also share things that I like that I'm having fun with. Apply to open calls, the ones that align with your work, but also I've done open calls that that align with like an idea I had, and the open call kind of incentive, like it encourages me, like it pushes me, like, oh, now I have a reason to keep going with this idea. And most of the time those are the ones that get picked. The L'Oreal was like abstract that I was playing around with already. I had created a video for it, and I was like, oh, cool, abstract. I have this here, and I decided to show it for that open call, and I got it. So meaning like don't put yourself in a box. Keep experimenting, keep having fun. And with Web3, something that I wanted to say is that we're all artists. And sometimes we say, oh, I'm a web artist in Web3, but we're artists without, we don't need to hold on to Web3 or I'm an artist on Instagram. Or, no, we're artists, and opportunities are going to come and align because of that, and not necessarily just because we're in Web3. And yeah, look for different ways to share your art, even if it's selling it on Society6. Again, like I said, on social media, and have your lifestyle kind of reflect who you are, and try not to box yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Mel, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I want to start by thanking the awesome ladies at Audacity for giving me the opportunity to have this session and share a little bit about my journey with all of you. Let's get started. So this session is titled Life's Palette of Healing and Hope, because if I had to give a title to my Web3 and art journey experience, that's what I would call it. I hope that through this session and by sharing some of my personal experiences that I am able to help the other artists out there. So here are 3 things about me. The first image is what you'll see as my profile picture on most social media platforms. And I think it captures really well the person I am on the inside. I'm a very private person, and so you won't see a lot of photographs of me on social media. I think that Web3 has helped me open up a little bit more and connect with more people and kind of share more about myself that I just wouldn't in the past. As a person who is very reserved and quiet, someone who suffers from anxiety, I think it has really helped me push myself and come out of that bubble. The second photo is my little family. We took this photo in front of the waterfall at Expo 2020, which is in Dubai. So that just tells you where I'm based and located. It's my home and a place that I love and feel very safe at. Dubai is a place that has people of so many diverse backgrounds and cultures come together. And so I think that is one of the best parts about being in a place like this. And the third photo over here is when I took a group of students to Greece for an international trip. So that just tells you that I'm also an educator. And I think a lot of what I do as an educator is also kind of seeps in through my everyday life as well. And so my goal today is to share with you some of the reasons why I create art, and to show you that there's so much that goes into creating art and how it can really help you become a more well-rounded individual, and the different perspectives that it allows you to see. I think it's most important that the art that you're creating, the process that you're going through, that you're enjoying it and you're having fun with it. Because if it is not fun, if you're not enjoying the process, then you're not going to like what you create, at least for me. Again, being a private and reserved person, an introvert, I call myself a social introvert, if you may. It's sometimes really hard for me to express my feelings into words, and so art really helps me with that. And I'll show you some examples of that later on. I am obsessed with dreams. I have been obsessed with dreams since I was younger. I like psychoanalyze them. I have a book of dreams that I often refer to. And so I used to suffer from nightmares when I was younger, but somehow bad dreams can make really cool art. I also use art to meditate and calm my nerves. And I wish I learned that sooner, because it would have helped with a lot of difficult years of my life. And then finally, my ultimate goal is to become a full-time artist. We're not quite there yet, but here's hoping that the art that I create now kind of help build my portfolio. Oh yeah, so here are two pieces that I created just to kind of remind myself that not every piece of art is created to make a sale. So the first one over here is something that I created when I was going through a time when, just like many other artists, I wasn't making a lot of sales. This is Web3. And so I didn't mince this one. I created it just to tell myself, hey, you know you're good, believe in yourself, create something for fun. The second one, and as you go through some of the pieces, you'll see that this is a very different color palette for me. And so this one, again, was not created for sales. It was a free mint. And it's just to celebrate women, celebrate powerful women, mainly thinking of a couple of women in my life. And so it's titled Blossom. And the goal was to capture in this image, not just the beauty of these women, but how such amazing individuals they are, and how they give back to their community, they pay it forward, and without expecting anything back in return. So this was dedicated to them. This is an example of kind of channeling the negativity around you, the obstacles, into something positive, positive being art. You'll see that if you really think and dig deeper into it, both these artworks have a deeper meaning, and they come from a place of darkness, I would say, but my color palette kind of doesn't shout that out. The first one actually is an animation, but I couldn't play it during this presentation. I tried, but technology was not being helpful. So if you are interested in seeing that, you can head over to my Twitter and find it over there. Artists use symbols, sometimes little Easter eggs hidden here and there within their artwork. And I think sometimes we do it subconsciously, sometimes it's more intentional, sometimes it's more apparent. And through this, we share our little experiences. A person like me does it without sharing, without oversharing. And it's almost like that need that you need to express yourself. You need to get it out there, but you also don't want everyone to know your whole personal story, but it's just a way of putting it on paper, not in writing, through drawing. And it's not just the end product that kind of helps with this therapeutic process. It's the whole process of it. Every brush stroke, every draft or sketch helps with this healing process. At least for me, it does. And so what I have learned about myself is that when I was younger, I used to create more spontaneous art, whereas now it's a lot more planned, and where I do multiple sketches and I do drafts and compositions that are detailed. I really think about the color and the palette and the strokes a lot more. And when I do compare the art that I created back then, I say back then, a few years ago to now, I wish I continued to take the same risks that I did back then, and I wish I continued to be as brave. And so that's what I'm trying out right now, to take more risks with my art and to celebrate and not just focus on the negative side. I forced myself to create pieces like this where I celebrate my achievements, my little milestones, goals that I have achieved, and to celebrate others, specifically women. So the first one is, if I had to summarize it in one word, I would say self-love. And the second piece here, I created for the Philippine blockchain event that took place last year. And it's dedicated to the 3 Filipinas in my life. Living in a place like Dubai with so many diverse backgrounds and cultures and people coming together, I have the opportunity to have a lot of Filipino friends. And one thing that I did that I admire about them is that even in moments of, hardships, they somehow seek and follow and spread joy and happiness. And I really, really, really appreciate that about them. Another thing that creating art has helped me with is to learn and grow. So these 2 pieces were created using AI, and I thought that I would be the last person to explore AI and that it was cheating. But I have to say, I've had so much fun with it. It's a lot of prompting and then prompting some more. But I used Midjourney to create both of these, and then I put it in Procreate and add my final touches. And these were both dedicated to my sisters, because I have one sister that has a dog, and I have another sister who has adopted and rescued and adopted 4 cats. So these were dedicated to my sisters, using AI, learning, growing, really putting myself out there and trying out new things. This has to be one of my proudest ones so far. So last year for Women's History Month, I reached out to 6 women artists and asked them if they would like to create a collaborative, dynamic NFT. And so if you look closely at this picture on the left, you'll see a lot of different things happening, but this piece is titled Embrace Equity. And so each artist did her part, and we have one layer created by each artist. And so the NFT would kind of evolve as each artist added their piece to it. I absolutely loved doing this because something like this would be very difficult to do in real life, with having these artists from different continents and backgrounds come together to create something physical. For some people, traveling and doing all of that just would not be an option. So I love that I got the chance to do this. And as I was thinking and reflecting on this, I said to myself, I have to do this again this year. Maybe make it an annual thing, an event. So I have reached out to some women artists again. I actually have it on, I just posted it on Twitter. If you identify as a woman and you want to be part in creating this collaborative art piece, to reach out to me. So that's why I have that coming soon for 2024. Maybe I'd say a week and a bit after this conference. I hope that you all get to see what we created this year. So here's a QR code that will take you to my On Cyber gallery. The way that I've organized my gallery is so that half of it is kind of all the work that I have collected over, not all the work, I would say work that that really has inspired me. When I joined the Web3 space, my main goal was to sell art. And so I just wanted to sell art. I wanted to have my art in as many wallets as possible. And then somehow along the way, I ended up collecting more art than selling. So I wanted to also highlight all those artists that I collected work from. So half of my gallery is dedicated to them, to celebrate them. And the other half is my work, both minted and unminted. And that is all. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I would love for you to connect and pop in and say hello. I have my socials over here, and I really look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you and bye.